Hi guys, this is Ben from Trisled. Just wanting to make a quick video with I guess a discussion about the construction of roll frames in Australian racing human-powered vehicles and the overhead protection rules that have come in this year and some concerns I have. One of the things I'm most concerned about that I've seen in scrutineering recently is a growing trend in people drilling holes in their roll frames, and I just really want to explain to you why this is a bad idea and that you need to really adjust your construction methods if you need to attach things to your roll frames, such as overhead protection panels and so on. This is a piece of 4130 chromoly, just a ½ inch, the same stuff we use in all of our roll frames that everyone races. You'll notice it has just the slightest bend in it. What I did was I set my tube bender to an end stop just after the yield point kicked in with this, just to show, right, this is the spot where a normal roll frame tube would bend. I then repeated this test, same amount of deflection, with a piece of chromoly with a pot rivet size hole in it. Now you'll see that the deflection is nearly double. I'll probably line them up side by side. Now that's purely by putting the hole in it, which means if you had several holes in your roll frame, you basically jeopardise your roll frame's effectiveness. I then repeated the test with a pot rivet and a piece of aluminium alloy, which is a construction method which seems to be becoming popular. I'm not actually a fan of this method. I think the materials are mismatched, and I reckon you grab the worst of both. You'll see that the aluminium alloy hasn't really put back anything away that the hole has created in weakening this roll frame. So this to me is not a viable construction method. If you're considering pot riveting things to your roll frame to comply with the panels, please don't. So how do you attach it? One of the things that I would consider if you were doing a construction level is that you would possibly weld on some tabs and bolt it on. This would mean that the two parts can work together a little more effectively, but most importantly, the roll frame's cross-section remains intact the whole way through, and so any panels you're at are not taking anything away from the roll frame. If you're retrofitting, I would consider this as an option. These are the large 10mm zip ties. Now, zip ties might not seem like an effective means of construction, however, consider this, they have probably 3 or 4 times the modulus of elasticity of the two materials you're attaching. Therefore, in a large deflection from a major impact, the zip ties have got a better chance of staying intact than possibly even the aluminium on the edge between the zip tie and the panel. So if you don't have access to welding or you need to retrofit to a vehicle, I would consider this actually quite a viable method. Some other things to consider. This is a piece of mild steel in 1.6, so a thicker wall than the stuff that we would use in chromoly, put through the same level of deflection with a hole in it. You'll notice just how much more deflection there is. So I really would urge people to reconsider using mild steel for their roll frames in today's construction. And also, just to give you some perspective, just going to grab it. This is a proportionally sized hole in a 38mm piece of tubing. Now, if you were a race car driver and you showed up to CAMS with a hole that big in your roll frame, I think it's pretty unlikely they would consider that roll frame safe. So why are we doing it here with these roll frames? Hope that's helpful. Thanks for watching. Cheers.